Buongiorno studenti del VCE di italiano. Io sono il professore Giovanni Di Fabrizio e oggi vi parlo dello scritto, dell'esame scritto, del written exam. In particolare oggi guardiamo lo stile informativo o informative writing style, one of the 5 writing styles that you have to know. Remember the persuasive, evaluative. I've already made some videos about that. Informative is also very, very common. So what is informative writing style? It is a style where you have to write and present information in a very objective way. Objectivity means that you don't have to include your opinion or your judgment or your bias, as it says here in the text. On the other hand, you need to support your information with facts, examples, data, numbers. That would be great, or quoting studies, research, surveys. We're going to see in the example has all this data. Doesn't have to be necessarily true. It's just about how you're presenting it. And obviously the structure, which is very simple, it's probably one of the easiest one to tackle. And obviously you need a lot of logical connectors. We're going to see in according to the type of text type that this writing style is associated. You would need obviously to check the audience for the register and the tone, check also your way, whether you write in a formal way or in more informal, more casual, if you're talking to your friends or your people you already know, okay? The ones that I am circling here, these are the 4 probably more common text type that are associated with informative writing. L'articolo, il blog, l'email o la relazione. Relazione is a report. We're going to go through some of these linguistic elements. In these slides, you kind of see the sequential connectors that are very important here, because this is a writing styles in which you sort of list a number of informations. So it's important that you sequence it right with words at the start of each paragraph, okay? And then when you do your conclusion, you can use words such as alla fine or in conclusione. Okay, let's go to some examples. These are taken from past exams, in which we've got some relazione. In this case, this is the one that we are going to analyze, but there is some other ones that you can use here also as a practice. Also a review. A review is actually also another text type that could be associated to an informative writing style. So make sure that you add this one as well. Una recensione. I think a couple of years ago there was a recensione about a cooking show in which you had to sort of compare, present some of the dishes. Okay, let's go and have a look at this one. So I'm just going to read this for you. We're going to write, scrivere una relazione nella quale discuti l'importanza di spostarsi nelle grandi città con i mezzi pubblici, biciclette o a piedi. And this relazione goes to the presidente del gruppo Salva Città. Because we are writing to the presidente, we have to use a little, make sure that we use lei when we address him or her. And that's what we're going to look at now. This is my introduction. Gentile presidente, di Salva la tua città. Gentile, it's always a great, easy sort of denomination that you can use for when you are addressing and you're writing a letter or a message to, let's say, your boss at work, or you're applying for a job. You are, like in this case, you are writing to the president or that run this organization. Le invio, inviare is obviously to send, but also the direct object pronoun, I send you this report on the importance of traveling by public transport and so on. So this is two elements that show that the language is formal. And mainly, this is the only part where you have to remember, and in the conclusion. The body doesn't really require you to think, unless you use some rhetorical questions, and then in that case, you've got to use lei as well. Already here you see some impersonal form. Oggi nella maggior parte delle grandi città si usa, so people use a variety of transport, public and private transport. The fact that you use this si impersonale, this one over here, shows that you are almost stepping back and you're making like some generalization, some assumption that everyone can agree to. This one really helps you to be objective, but you got to use the third person when you use si impersonale. This is the body. That's the main part of your report. We have three elements that I'm going to talk about. Notice that in each one of them there is always some numbers involved. Why? Because numbers and stats, percentages, in this case I have I'm referring to a survey. In this case I'm referring to some stats and percentages of people that live or how people move around. And at the end here, I'm even referring to a sum of money that has been raised for the purpose, for the goal of making the cities and people use more public transport. So again, if you look here, I've used the si impersonale in a few instances. I've got my sequential words, prima di tutto, poi, infine. And then I'm also, if you want to, you could also add the subtitles in the sense that if you were to write a longer paragraph, then you could title this paragraph the opinion of the people in the city, and then you quote. So you can divide and have some subheading in each paragraph. Okay, let's go to the conclusion. Conclusion, in conclusione, si vede. Now I've got to bring again the 3 points. So they tell me that la maggior parte dei cittadini vuole spostarsi a piedi. And then non ci sono piste ciclabili, sono troppo cari e non si possono ricaricare i mezzi elettrici privati. I just summarized what was said earlier by using synonyms and using different words. So instead of spostarsi, I could use muoversi and so on. Or this one is a good one. Si vede is impersonal. Adverbs there that can always boost your description, your descriptive language. And obviously you need your vocabulary for the topic that you can find on your dictionary. So it's important to rephrase, don't forget that. Good. Now this is a little practice that you can do on this topic. You're writing a review of a camping ground, un campeggio. So first you got to do your mind map or your brainstorming. Which aspect are you going to talk about? Are you going to talk about the cleanliness? Are you going to talk about the staff? Are you going to talk about the attractions? Once you have identified the 3 or 4 areas that you are going to describe, then you start with your introduction. You do your description, your information, and obviously you got to decide whether you want to highlight the positive or if you want to highlight some negatives in this case. And then in your conclusion, when you do your conclusion, you have to summarize both aspects. If you had a really great experience in your blog, you can obviously give a great review. Otherwise, you can also mention what the negative aspect. Okay, so this is for you to practice. And again, just Remember the introduzione, 2 or 3 lines, depending who you are addressing, who you're writing to. If it is a blog, like in this case, make sure that you have your title and the date, your name, who is writing the blog. And then you have the body, il corpo centrale del vostro scritto. Decide whether you want to talk about 3 or 4 elements, no more than 3 or 4, but make sure that you meet also the minimum words, and then you do your conclusione. Nella conclusione, we bring back the 3 elements that I spoke about, without my opinion, okay? Not secondo me, but you are, in this case, obviously giving just an objective review of the camping ground. So I hope that this has helped you a bit with il stile informativo e buona fortuna per l'esame. I'm also going to do next video on personal writing. Arrivederci.